This popcorn-style review contains scenes from another video. Fairy Gone, the anime I almost forgot I watched until I started watching the second part of it. Fairy Gone is a series that takes place in a world where two countries have just mostly recently, within the past decade, just finished a war and we're coming to a sort of gritted teeth peace. During the war, fairies, which are just, they're less fanciful than, traditional fairies, but they're basically fairies. They're called fairies. Were used, and part of their body, organs were implanted into soldiers called fairy soldiers as part of the war. In peacetime, having, collecting, fairies and having fairy organs in your body and all of that is generally considered illegal. And in at least the country that the story takes place in, there is an organization called Dorothea, which uses fairy soldiers and invites other fairy soldiers into their ranks in order to sort of police unregulated fairy usage. The overall plot of the actual series is about a specific book called the Fairy Tome, and specifically a part of the Fairy Tome that was lost called the Black Fairy Tome, and the organization is trying to get a hold of the pieces of the Black Fairy Tome that has been since lost. The main character ends up joining the organization Dorothea because her, childhood friend who she hasn't seen in some time, I think 9 years, has been going after pieces of the Black Fairy Tome for a reason I'm not sure we know yet. We just know she's going after it. While the story is all about, acquiring the pieces of the Black Fairy Tome, they get into, trouble with multiple crime groups. The story itself has a lot of, characters and a lot of enemy organizations, and it can honestly be kind of hard to, keep track and keep everything straight of what's going on. It's just, constantly throwing terms at you. Plot itself can be a little, slow-moving, so it can be kind of hard to, get into the overall story of it. Soundtrack's pretty okay, and the core cast is identifiable enough that you never really lose track of them. But I feel like except for, the main two characters, we don't really know anything about the core cast either. We have, a general idea of their, personalities, but we don't know what their deal is. And the fight scenes can actually be pretty exciting. Fairy Gone is a sort of middle-of-the-row series. I would say there's probably more good than bad, but it's definitely not something I feel strongly about. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your Envoy of Hope. Bye-bye!